Canto 28. Summary. The travelers enter the new countryside, filled with wonder, enjoying the sweet aromas and gentle breezes of the beautiful landscape. They enter an ancient wood and come to a brook shaded by the trees above. A lady appears to them on the other side, coming slowly through the field, singing and gathering flowers. Dante calls out to her and begs her to come closer so that he may know the words of her song. She obliges and explains that they are in that place originally chosen for human nature, an oblique reference to the Garden of Eden, which has been preserved here on top of the mountain. She has been singing the Delectasti from Psalm 92, "For you, O Lord, have made me glad by your work." She answers the pilgrim's implied question about the water and the weather, Dante having understood Purgatorio proper to be free from all meteorological events. See Canto 21. She explains first that the movement of the air they feel is not wind, but rather the movement of the lowest sphere acting upon it, as they are in the highest atmosphere of earth. Next, she explains that no rain falls here, but instead the water comes from a fountain further on. The brook that separates them is one of two branches that flow from the fountain, and is in fact the river Lethe. The other, Eunoe, they will see later on. She concludes by telling Virgil and Statius that this garden was the pattern on which the poets Age of Gold and even Parnassus itself were based. They laugh with delight to find they have come to such a tremendous place as this. Canto 28. Earthly Paradise. Eager now to search within and around the divine forest, so thick and alive, which tempered the brand-new day to my eyes, without waiting longer, I left the bank, taking the countryside slowly, across the ground that on all sides gave forth scent. A sweet air, without changing in itself, was breezing against the front of my brow with no greater force than a gentle wind, at which the nimble branches, fluttering, were bending, each of them toward the place where the holy mountain cast its first shadow. Although not so twisted from their straightness, that the little birds up in the treetops abandoned practicing all of their art. Rather, with full happiness they received, singing, the first hours within the branches which were keeping the drone tone to their rhymes, even as is gathered from limb to limb through the forest of pine on Classy's shore, when Aeolus lets loose his sirocco. Already my slow steps had carried me into the ancient wood so far that I could no longer see whence I had entered. And behold, my going further was blocked by a brook that leftward, with little waves, was bending the grass that grew on its shore. All the cleanest waters here in this world would seem to have some mixture in themselves alongside that one which conceals nothing, although it flows along darkly, underneath the perpetual shadow which allows neither sun nor moon to shine. My feet rested, but my eyes passed over from that place across the brook to wonder at the great array of fresh-flowered boughs. And there appeared to me as suddenly a thing will appear that chases away all other reflections in wonderment, a lady alone, who walked by singing, picking one flower from many flowers, with which her way was completely colored. "Ah, beautiful lady, who warm yourself in love's rays, if I may believe those looks that are wont to bear witness to the heart, may it be your desire to draw forward," I said to her, "closer to this river, so that I might understand what you sing. You are causing me to remember where and what Proserpina was in that time her mother lost her, and she lost the spring." As a lady dancing turns with souls pressed to the ground and against one another, and barely places foot ahead of foot, she turned toward me upon the vermilion and yellow flowers, not otherwise than a virgin lowering her modest eyes. And she satisfied my supplications, drawing herself so near that the sweet sound was coming to me with all its meaning. As soon as she was there where the grasses are bathed in the waves of the lovely stream, she gifted me with her uplifted eyes. I do not believe that so much light shone beneath the brows of Venus, being transfixed by her son wholly beyond his custom. She was laughing along the other shore, upright, twining more colors in her hands, which the high ground scatters round without seeds. The stream kept us apart by 3 paces, but Hellespont, where Xerxes passed over, still a check on all the hubris of man, suffered no more hatred from Leander, tossing between Cestus and Abydos, than the stream from me for not parting then. "You are new, and perhaps because I laugh," she began, "in this place that was chosen to be the dwelling of human nature, there is some doubt that keeps you marveling. But the Psalm Delectasti renders light that can uncloud each of your intellects. And you who stand in front and asked of me, say if you wish to hear more, for I came primed for all questions and will satisfy." "The water," I said, "and the forest sounds challenge me with a new conviction about things I heard to the contrary." "I will tell how that which makes you wonder," she therefore said, "arises from its cause, and I will purge the fog that besets you. The highest good, who alone is pleasing to himself, made man good and for the good, and gave this place as proof of endless peace. For his failure he stayed here but little. For his failure he exchanged sweetest play and honest laughter for tears and hard toil. So that the disturbances made below from exhalations of water and earth, which come after heat as much as they can, should not do any injury to man, this mountain rose so far to the heavens, and is free of them from where it is locked. Now because the whole of the airy sphere revolves in circuit with the first turning, if its wheel is not broken in some place, this movement of the spheres assails this height, which is fully free in the living air, and makes the wood resound, for it is dense. And the plants assailed have so much power, they impregnate the air with their virtue, and this, then, wheeling round, scatters abroad. The other lands, according to their worth, both in themselves and in the air, conceive and bear from diverse powers, diverse trees. Hearing this, it would not seem a marvel, therefore, when some plant without any seed that can be seen roots itself in that place. And you ought to know that the holy plain, here where you are, is full of every seed, and bears fruit that back there is not gathered. The water you see does not spring from veins restored by vapors condensed by the cold, as streams increase and lose their energy, but springs from a fountain, certain and sure, that gathers from the will of God as much as it openly streams out on 2 sides. On this side it descends with the virtue to take away the memory of sin, the other to give back of all good done. Here, Lethe, just as on the other side Eunoe it is called, and does not act unless it is tasted both here and there. This is a savour above all others. And though your thirst may be much satisfied, even if I reveal no more to you, as a grace I will still give you a gift. Nor do I think my speech will be less dear to you if it stretches past my promise. Those who poeticized in ancient times the age of gold and of its happy state, perhaps on Parnassus, dreamed of this place. Here, in innocence, was the human root. Here is eternal spring and every fruit. This is the nectar of which each one speaks. I turned fully round back to my poets, and I saw that with laughter they had heard her final explanation. Then I turned my face back to the beautiful lady.